Hello and welcome to another statistics video, and in this video we will learn about the binomial distribution. The best way how to start is by looking at a real-life example. So a garden center is selling a specific type of flower seeds, and there is 25% probability that when the seed germinates, the flower will have yellow petals. What is the probability that if we randomly choose 20 of those seeds, exactly 5 will have yellow petals in part A, or in part B, 3 or less of these seeds will have yellow petals? So this problem can be solved using a binomial distribution because it follows 4 rules. The first one, there are only 2 possible outcomes, yellow or not yellow petals. 2, there is a fixed number of trials. We've got 20 seeds or objects. Number 3, there is a fixed probability of success. 25% is the probability of each seed to have a yellow petals, a yellow flower. And number 4, the trials are independent. So the color of each flower doesn't depend on the color of another flower. The general formula for a binomial distribution B and P, where n is the number of trials and p is the probability of success, is here. But normally we don't use it because all these calculations can be done using the binomial functions on your calculator. And for the binomial distribution, there are 2 functions. Binomial PD, which is PD stands for probability distribution, and binomial CD, which stands for cumulative distribution. So for example, in our example 1 in part A, when there was exactly 5 yellow petals, this is a case when x equals 5, and whenever x equals only one number, we use the PD function. In part B, when we asked for the probability of 3 or less petals, this is a range of numbers, x is less than or equal to 3, and in this case we will use the CD function on your calculator. So for this particular example that was in the beginning of this video, we are using the binomial distribution B where n is 20 and p is 0.25. To calculate the probability that x equals to 5, we will use the binomial PD function on your calculator. So we just click on home button, go to distributions, use binomial PD, choose variable, and now for this question x is equal to 5, n is 20, and p is 0.25. You can see on the right hand side using binomial 20, 0.25. And then just press execute. We see that the answer is 0.202. And to calculate the probability that x is less than or equal to 3, we have to use the binomial CD function. So we can press the back button on your calculator, scroll down to binomial CD, again variable. N and p stays the same, n stays 20 and p stays 0.25, but now we change x to 3, and when we press execute, we will see that the answer is 0.225, which can be rounded up to 0.23. We need to talk a little bit more about using the CD function on your calculator. So whenever you use the CD function, the calculator always includes the upper limit in the calculations. So when you press CD x equals 7, it does all the probabilities from 0 up till 7. So when we need to calculate, for example, here the probabilities that x is less than 10, we should not include 10 in the calculations. So the first integer less than 10 is 9. So probability that x is less than or equal to 10 is calculated by doing the calculations for x is less than or equal to 9. In this case, using the binomial distribution 30, 0.15, if you input all these numbers in your calculator, you will get the answer b equals 0.99. And finally, the problem with these calculators is, a little problem, that they can only calculate the probabilities, cumulative probabilities from some number down. So when we need to calculate probability px is more than or equal to n, we have to use this formula. The probability of x is more than or equal to n equals 1 minus the probability that x is less than or equal to n minus 1. So for example, looking here, when we need to calculate probability that x is more than or equal to 8, we have to calculate first the probability that x is less than or equal to 7, which is, as you can see here, 0.93, and then you take this probability away from 1, which will give you 0.07. So the probability that x is more than or equal to 8 equals 0.07. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.